This is the KATA I3s 5-inch quad core 1.3 gigahertz smartphone. This is an unlocked phone. And I'll put it down here to keep the glare off the lights from hitting the screen so much. But here included with the phone is a wall adapter, the micro charging cable, and the instructions, which are fairly basic, the battery that's already inside, and a set of headphones. Considering this is a $150 phone, I was not expecting a whole lot when I received this for review. But I was actually pretty surprised with this. This is, roughly, I'll show you my S4. My S4 has a case on it, so this is roughly the size of it versus my S4. It's a little bit bigger than my S4, maybe the size, almost the size of an S5, except a little squarish design as opposed to a more rounded edge design. But I'm actually pretty surprised at how nice this phone looks for the price. I'll show you up close here. The sides have a metal trim all the way on both sides here, and the back is a plastic back, which is not too uncommon for phones these days. Most Samsungs are that way. In this case, this one pulls off and has a bunch of little snaps on each side that snap down. It is the way it snaps down is a little bit of an annoyance to me. Minor, but I mean, it's got a little series of tabs that tend to pop up. If you push one down, another one kind of pops up. It's a little bit of an annoying way to snap a cover closed, but I mean, not a huge deal. Inside the back, you have a place for your phone SIM, a micro SD card slot, and then of course the battery. The phone, like I said, is very solid, a very solid made phone. I was actually really surprised at this. It's very well made. It's lightweight. It's approximately 5.5 inches in length, about 3 inches wide, just a little shy of that, and about a 1/4 inch thick from edge to edge. But it's a nice looking phone. I'll show you the screen here a little bit. The screen is responsive. I tested with various apps here. It's pretty quick. There's different basic apps on here. Nothing too dramatic. There's not a lot of bloatware on here, or anything like that. But it's pretty responsive. I'll bring up the internet. Sorry, I hadn't set that up yet. But it's very quick and responsive. The internet comes up pretty quickly. It comes to KATA Digital's webpage, which is you can change that, the default or whatever. But I mean, all the apps in it are really responsive and really quick. And again, I'm actually pretty surprised at that. It has a nice quality display on it. Very bright, very clear. My webcam doesn't do it justice, but it has a nice clear display. And not expected in the $150 price range for sure. This particular phone has 2 immediate updates that you need to install as part of the software to upgrade the different updates to it. You have to install one, and then it reboots, and then you have to install and check again and install a second update, which to me shows that the company is trying to improve their software interface with their phone, which is good. You don't always get that with phone company firmware. So but again, it's got a 1.3 gigahertz processor. I haven't installed a whole lot with this because this is going to be a basic phone, not for me but for my mom instead of me. I wish I could use it. Unfortunately, this phone only doesn't work on Verizon's network. It'll work on like AT&T and T-Mobile, but unfortunately, Verizon's the oddball that most these unlocked phones don't work with, and this one doesn't work with either. There's a good amount of memory on board with this phone, but it has space for adding additional memory cards, which I always recommend for any of these types of phones. But but it has a decent amount of space on board. I think it's 16 gigabytes of ROM. I can install apps no problem. I can move the apps to the additional card with no problem, just as well as I could with my S4 or any other phone. It easily found my wireless network with no issues, connected with no problem. And in comparison to budget tablets that I have at home here, I couldn't believe that this actually comes with a 13 megapixel camera on the front and on the back. Has a 5 megapixel, so that's pretty impressive. Considering again this budget level type of phone. And again, unfortunately, it doesn't only for me. It doesn't work on Verizon, which because otherwise I'd be keeping this phone for myself. Phone calls sound good and clear. It has decent connection and reception through the network. The battery is pretty good. It gives about 14 hours of talk time, but of course that always varies depending on how much you play around with the phone. And pretty good standby time. Charging time is about 2 hours for this battery that's in this. Again, I like this phone. I'm pretty impressed with the phone considering the price, which is currently $150. If this worked on Verizon network, I'd be keeping this for myself to replace an old Droid X2. And as with anything, if I have any issues with long-term durability or any issues I encounter over the long term, I'll update my review. But for now, I'm happy with this phone. I have no issues, and I give it 5 stars.